Hello to our viewers across Australia and all around the world. I'm Philip Duncan from weatherwatch.co.nz, and today we're taking a look at Australia's weather as we go through this weekend and across next week. Can you believe it? We're at the end of October. So this is the wind map. It's actually the energy map. So where you see the brighter shading, like down here in the Southern Ocean, that's where the windiest weather is. But you can certainly see there's a southerly flow coming into a large portion of Australia as we head into this weekend. So places like Adelaide will be a little bit cooler, but further to the north, it's a different story with northerlies coming down out of the tropical regions. And that's where we start with a hot Friday on the way. The areas in red, 40 to 45 degrees Celsius. So a very hot day for northern areas and heading out towards places like Broome, more populated areas. So that's where the warm stuff is, but it's definitely cooler in southern areas. So here are the maximum temperatures, departure from normal. So basically the areas in red or brown, areas that are much warmer than average, and the blue areas are below normal. So what we're seeing here clearly on Friday, the hot weather on the eastern side, there's that cooler southerly coming through for you there. On Saturday, that cooler change is a lot more noticeable. You notice the blue expands and the red area retreats, although eastern Australia still looks pretty hot on Saturday. We get to Sunday, hot around places like Brisbane, hot on the other side down towards Perth and inland areas, but that colder change sweeping through across a large portion of southern Australia, Adelaide, Melbourne, Tasmania, all caught up in that. And then next week, it heats up again briefly, but only for places like Kalgoorlie. Many other areas won't be that warm as we kick off the start of next week. So let's get a little bit more detailed. Here is the rainfall that's on the way for the next 3 days around Australia. Most of it around northern areas and down around the east. We're going to be seeing some thunderstorms bubbling up in the next few days, at the start of next week, perhaps more likely. And then, of course, low pressure moving through. That's why we're seeing Tasmania with the most rainfall totals, probably between 30 and 50 millimetres coming through over the next few days. That's not too problematic. So this is Saturday's forecast. What you're seeing is low pressure in the southeastern corner with a colder southerly coming through. So Adelaide, Melbourne, Hobart are all windier with the cooler southerly blowing through. Sydney's cooler with low pressure in the area. That could spark a few downpours later on. The red line, that indicates the tropics, the airflow dropping down. That's why we're seeing those northern areas so hot. As we get into Sunday, hot weather remains up here to the north and a large area of high pressure moving through southern areas. That will start to push away the windy, cold southerlies, but it is still going to be a windy, cold day in Hobart. The blue line there does the opposite of the red. It tells you where the colder Southern Ocean airflow is coming northwards. So it will be cooler in Melbourne and Hobart and Sydney as we go through Sunday, but high pressure is starting to move on through. So as we get into Monday itself, we've got downpours, thunderstorms forming up along the eastern coastline, north of Brisbane for the most part, although some of them will come further down towards New South Wales. That's basically due to this low pressure zone trying to move away and airflow starting to mix up a bit. On the other side of Australia, we've got the next cold blast. See that blue line there? That's the big southern pulse of cold air coming through. So Perth, your weather goes downhill quite a bit as we get into Monday. So this is the rainfall, the 2-day totals covering Monday and Tuesday. Heaviest downpours look to be between Bundaberg and Gympie with totals of maybe 60 or 70 millimetres. And remember, that's potentially falling just really in a short period of time from those thunderstorms, much lower totals as you go further down the screen. And also at the same time, we've got windy weather coming through on Monday. Most of it is pushing inland in this area here, getting gusts of 90 kilometres an hour into Monday afternoon. That is 2 p.m. Monday Western time. So let's get into Tuesday, and there is that stormy system over in Perth. So the colder change comes through. It's not too rough. It's just a southerly and temperatures dropping, and that's the next system. And then over on the other side of that low, in come the hot northerlies. See the red line dropping down? That's the heat being pushed right down. So the temperatures are going to go up on Tuesday around places like Adelaide, and you can see those downpours clearing away from Queensland, which we just showed you that rain map for earlier. As we get into Wednesday, the biggest rainfall, the biggest focus is actually down around Perth. If I'm not showing you on the map, it's because nothing's really going on. There's no real wind or rain. It might be hot, or cold, but there's not much else going on. So we're going to focus here on the southwestern corner of Australia, clearly pretty unsettled. Cold southerly going right up into Perth. In fact, it goes further north of Geraldton, and Kalgoorlie getting that cold change and wet weather as well. And then our final map is showing that stormy system moving through into Adelaide, Melbourne, and later on it'll be affecting Sydney and Hobart as we go through next week. But look what's coming behind it all. Large area of high pressure to calm things down, and I'm sure that'll be welcome by many of you, because to be honest, the weather across Australia over the next few days is far more unsettled than where I am in New Zealand, and we've got gale force winds and some rain on the way. So that is the long range forecast. The image of the day is coming from Alaska. You know, Unalaska from the Deadliest Catch, right here. This storm is out in the Bering Sea. The winds here are sustained at 120 kilometres an hour. This is a really big storm. So those boats, when they're going out looking for crab, right here in this area. So very, very stormy. They'll be sheltered at the moment from that big storm, which is happening right now. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next week with our global top 5 weather extremes.